Marwan, welcome to the World XP podcast. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm so glad to be here.
So it's a pleasure to have you on. For a little bit of background for the people listening, you're part of the base gang. Of course, Peter and I are friends, and so he was gracious enough to ask you and the rest of the group if they wanted to come on. So maybe the other two as well at some point. But you guys are all very
Absolutely.
busy people for sure. But do you want to do like a quick elevator pitch, kind of tell the people who you are and what you do, and then we'll hop into the question from the last guest, and then see where it
Absolutely,
takes
yeah.
us.
Cool. Hello everyone. My name is Marwan Ayman. I'm 21 years old. I'm from Egypt. I'm an a cappella music producer, if that's what you want to call it. I'm a part of the bass gang. I do pretty much everything from arranging to video editing, mixing, mastering, producing, beatboxing, whatever. Yeah, I like music. I have a huge passion for music,
I mean,
and I'm lucky
that's
enough to have that as like a full-time career.
yeah. I mean, that's a good nutshell, I'd say. So I think, well, maybe you just answered the question, but the question from the last guest is, what is your why that drives you every day?
Ooh, dude, that's a deep one. I don't know. Like I just strive to be a better person every day, a better musician every day. I just really like making music. And I really like watching like my platforms, whether it's my solo channel or my bass gang channel, continue to flourish and grow. This is really satisfying to me. So all those milestones for the bass gangs, like reaching 100K subs, reaching like 20K subs on my own channel, 500,000 views on Valhalla Calling, which we just hit yesterday. I like all those milestones always like keep pushing me forward and encouraging me to keep doing what I'm doing, basically. I think that's the
Yeah.
best answer I could give right there.
Yeah, I know that's a good one. I would add, well, first of all, congrats on the 500K views and the other
Thank you.
milestones that you mentioned. But I was talking with a friend of mine the other day, and we were mentioning just like we are talking about communication, and um, is one of the things that makes a good communicator is the ability to communicate through different kind of planes. And we were
Mm,
like, well, Picasso and Einstein are both geniuses. And I was like, yeah, they're communicating in different mediums. When you're making music, do you have like things that you want to get across? Because there's some pieces where like when you're doing covers and you're experimenting and it's just like, let's see if this sounds cool. And I get that piece as well. But for your individual stuff, do you have um like things that you're trying to portray or communicate? Or like how do you go about making your own music and then deciding where you want to go with covers? Because I can imagine that sometimes it depends on kind of what you're feeling at that given time when like for example, I know that for your EPs you guys each have one that's kind of yours generally speaking.
yeah.
So like for the one that's yours, how do you go about doing that? Is there any piece of like um well, what's the thought process, I guess, like how you decide what song that you want to do and then what direction that you want to take the song? Because Valhalla Calling, for instance,
Yeah.
nobody would have been like, oh yeah, like let's have people shirtless in the video, and then for this at the same time, my mother told me go EDM. It's like two completely different directions for two songs that like on the face of it would be very similar.
I mean, if you're talking about that EP specifically, we just wanted to go all out and do like four different genres, four different feels and like vibes for each of the songs.
Yeah.
But like about like conveying emotions through music specifically, it kind of like depends on the song. Like if you're thinking about something like Hide and Seek, our Halloween cover from 2 years ago, I arranged that one and I was like involved with the video as well a little bit. And I tried my best to convey that emotion of like the uncanny valley, very spooky, very ominous, while at the same time, um, like very musical, there's something to appreciate in the music. So there's like that balance there. Um, I mean,
Like
yeah,
how
just
when you're doing hide and seek, for instance, because
yeah.
how do you're like, okay, I need to make it spooky. And then in your brain, where in your brain does it go to like, oh, we need to have this chord or this combination of note? Like like how do you translate that? I guess is what I'm getting at in your head. Because for everyone
I
it's different.
I don't know. Like, I'm not that much of a music theory nerd to tell you, like, oh, the spooky chords are like the freaking minor, major, diminished, like that stuff. I don't know that much about music theory. I just see where the arrangement takes me. I just try and feel the vibe and convey that through the arrangement that I'm making. And I don't know, I guess it's just a gift that I have. I'm lucky to have that. I don't look into it too much, like theory wise,
Yeah.
rather than just try and just put it out there.
Yeah, but when you feel like okay, so for let's take hide and seek for instance. Like, did you when you okay, so the four of you sit down and you're like, okay, Marwan, you have hide and seek.
Cool.
Like, now what? It's like it's your arrangement. Where do you start? So obviously you've got the lyrics and what
Oh,
like the
so like the
melody.
whole process of like
Yeah.
building a
Yeah, yeah.
project like that. Okay. We start with the song choice. Obviously, we assign the arranger, which was me at the time. I go in and arrange the piece. I do it like some people like to do it through sheet music. Some people like to do it through just opening up the recording software and just throwing stuff out. I like to do it through like something called MIDI, which is like digitally writing down the notes. It's kind of similar to sheet music, but
Hmm.
it's like a different way, so I can hear what I'm arranging first before I actually go into the booth and start recording. So I write down the whole arrangement digitally in like instruments, not even recording any vocals yet. I show that to the guys. We throw a bunch of feedback around. The arrangement is finalized. I then record the entire arrangement using my own voice for all four or five of the parts. Um, then we'd have a full rough demo of what the arrangement sounds like when recorded vocally, and then I
Hmm.
would send out like separate parts for each of the guys to record with like how do I describe it? It's like a guide track where it's my voice and they try to mimic the dynamics and like the way I recorded it instead of just sending them sheet music or something. That's
Mm.
how we do it. We just record the full demo first. I send that to the guide tracks to the guys or to the collaborator. They record their stuff. They send it in to the person who arranged the piece. They edit all the parts together, layer everything together, make it ready for the mixing engineer. We send that to the mixing engineer. He takes care of that. We get the like the pre-master file from him, which we send to the mastering engineer. It's a whole process,
Yeah.
and then we'd have the final audio ready. From then, we write like a script or storyboard for the video, like a little instructions document, what to wear, how to act, what background should be behind you, any specific moments or interactions in the video. Usually, the person who's responsible for the project takes care of all of that. So for hide and seek, for example, I arranged the piece, I edited the audio, I sent everything over to the mixing and mastering guys, got the final audio, and then wrote this giant storyboard or script for the video and everything we should do in the video. And then I was heavily in contact with the video editor who edited that video as well. That's basically how it goes for one of us who's like completely responsible for the project. He
Yeah.
does a lot of stuff while the other guys just send in their parts or send in their videos.
Yeah. There's two pieces
Um,
I want to dive in a little bit on the arranging piece and then
mm,
the storyboarding piece for the video.
yeah.
Because I think for me personally, like the process that you just laid out completely makes sense, right? But what at least for me, what I'm interested in, and I had somebody her name is Shannon. She wrote a um like the soundtrack or not soundtrack, but like the musical for a like broad it's not Broadway, but like a musical theater. She wrote the whole um what is the word I'm looking for? Symphony? I don't know. All of but she wrote
Score?
all the what?
Score? Is it?
No, she wrote the whole like so like people are performing the musical theater, like whatever the orchestra is playing, she wrote the whole like sound
Okay.
piece for it for like a whole musical um from scratch. And I was like,
Mm,
where do you even start? So like people throw the word arranging out there a lot, like as obviously that's what it's called, but for people non-musical people, it's just like I can imagine that they're just like, oh yeah, they just pick the notes that they want and it shows up. But like you have to, even without the theory piece, you have to like play around with stuff and have an idea of what you want in your head. And then for you, are you arranging certain vocal pieces for like, okay, Peter's good at this and Tommy's good at this and Bobby's good at this and I'm good at this, right? So you have to have all that in your brain before you start to put things into the software that you mentioned. So like, do you start with like like a framework and then go into like the little intricacies? Because sometimes there's some runs or something that you would add in or something like this. do you so like where do you start and then how do you like decide? Because the other thing that I know is like generally speaking, songs have a certain structure of like, okay, first
Mm,
verse, then chorus, second verse, then maybe a breakdown or something, and then last verse, chorus, and the ending, or some combination of those things. And so if you're going to maybe put a twist on it, it's like, well, we're gonna add this kind of run or breakdown the verse before, or we're gonna save it till the very, or like, where do you decide on those things? Is it just where it takes you, or like, what's your thought? What like was your process for going into the arranging and like deciding when this piece is gonna happen? And then I'll add this on. I know it's a lot in this kind of question, but like
that's all right.
when you're making the video, like, do you have video in mind as you're doing the music? You're like, this would be super cool if we did this way. So I'm gonna put this piece in. So for example, like Valhalla Calling, Tommy's like at the beginning where he's kind of his throat is like kind of I don't know what the technique is called, but like that's a perfect place for it. And then in your head, if you were arranging it, be like, oh, we could put the shirtless people here first, right? But like, do you know what I'm getting at? It's like because
Yeah.
the word arranging, there's so much baked into that that I want to like tease out for people listening maybe who are not the most musically inclined.
Cool. So, I mean, arranging is basically so me, I've never like written any like or like composed any music before. I've done
Yeah.
like only covers. I mean, I have dabbled in writing original stuff before, but not that much. So in arranging a cover, you already have the lyrics, the melody all set, and what I do is just there's not like a set process to it. It depends on a lot of factors, but as you said, definitely the main factor is just I see where it takes me. I see what I feel, the vibe I'm getting from the song, and I just try to work on that. Maybe what I start with, I kind of like lay down the whole lead part, the melody part, I start writing behind that, like the chords, the background parts, start setting the bass line down, doing all the beatbox parts. Um, some people do it where it's like they do the entire bass line and then the entire beatbox for the entire song, and then they just go through the parts. I personally like to do like just like everything for the first verse, everything for the chorus, everything second verse. So on. I like they people call arranging horizontally and vertically.
Hmm.
I kind of arrange vertically where I just go section by section instead of going part by part, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Um, so I kind of just listen to the song a lot. I listen to a bunch of covers of the song that I'm trying to arrange, see if I can get like any inspiration from any um different styles that people have done it with. And I just start arranging. I try to think up of new and creative ways to put my own touch on that song that no one has ever done before. Um, that's the thing. Like some people, when arranging a cappella pieces, they kind of just listen to the song, try to pick out all the different elements. Oh, there's a guitar here. I'm gonna act it out with my voice. Oh, there's a piano here. I'm gonna do that. Gonna do that. I think of it differently, where it's like I don't copy the original arrangement of the song. I always try and put my own spin on it, whether it's like doing crazy new chords, whether it's changing up the beat, doing crazy stuff with the bass line, changing up the lead sometimes, always just putting my own touch on it. Um, and that touch depends on a lot of factors. It depends on the song. It depends on the vibe we're going for with the video. It depends on um, I mean, as you said, I've been working with the guys for like 4 or almost 5 years at this point, so I know what they're good at. I know what where like their voices shine the most. So when I'm arranging for the bass gang, I definitely keep that in mind. Where I want Tommy to do this part, Peter to do this part. Oh, Bobby would be perfect for this part, pretty much. So there's a lot of factors, but the main thing I just do, I just listen to the song a bunch of times, just drink it in and just think of the vibe that I want to go for with this and just start laying it out. I
Hmm.
start with maybe I don't have a specific process, but most of the time I just start with the foundation, the bass and beatbox, like the meat and potatoes of the song
Yeah.
basically. And then I just lay down the background parts, any like any crazy moments or like runs or intricacies or any of that is always pre-arranged in the like the MIDI that I told you about, where like I arrange everything first and then I record the vocals. Um, any of that stuff just comes to mind, I write it down instantly. Even if I decide to scrap it later, anytime I just have an idea, I like to write it down in MIDI. And yeah, video wise, do I think about like the video as I'm arranging? Not always, but sometimes, even for certain moments where, like, for example, my cover of Kiss from a Rose that I released last year. I had this part where I did like a big like a slide like that, and
Hmm.
as I was arranging that, I was thinking in the video that I want to do like a really long pan of that slide as it's going through. So sometimes I definitely do think what I'm going to be doing in the video as I'm arranging, and sometimes it definitely does influence the arranging process.
That makes total
Yeah.
sense. When you mentioned like different groups arranging, voice play is the one that always comes to mind, at least when Peter and I talk in terms of like creativity and
Yeah.
and things of that nature. Um, okay, so we've talked about the arranging process and some of the bass gang process. I want to, where did you get your musical kind of influence from in terms of like different people have different kind of things that they heard growing up. Peter, Linkin Park guy, um, that's the easiest example I could think of off the top of my head. But like for
Mm,
you, when we spoke on the phone, you're like, well, you weren't really exposed to acapella at all. And I'm not super familiar with music from like North Africa or the Middle East or that sort of part of the world. So like what were your influences prior to that pentatonics kind of piece? And then walk through kind of your musical journey and where you found that piece and then you're like, "Ooh, I want to start doing this."
mm. So I come from a very musically inclined family. Like my dad is a singer, a producer, arranger, he does everything. He plays a lot of instruments. My mom sings, my sister sings. Um, Very musically inclined family. I've been in a choir in my local opera house from the age of 7 up until the age of like 18 or 19. So I've been singing my entire life basically. My dad would always like sit down with me and show me different artists, different music. Um, and up until the moment where I discovered like a cappella music, I would always think of music in general as just only a hobby. I didn't think of myself at all going into music as a career because it's risky and it does not pay that well over here in Egypt, at least. It's hard to make it as a musician in Egypt or anywhere in general, but specifically in Egypt. And I just would always think of it as a hobby and nothing else. And I wasn't that much, like, believe it or not, I liked like playing the piano or the guitar more than I liked singing at the time. I sang my entire life, but again, just never took it seriously. Um, until one day I discovered that one Pentatonics video. Let me tell you the story actually.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
like a
go for it.
huge
Go for it.
origin story of how I found this Pentatonics video. So in 2017, there was this movie that came out about like the life of Freddie Mercury and the band Queen. It's called
Hmm.
Bohemian Rhapsody,
Yep.
the movie. And the lead actor for the movie was Rami Malek, if you've heard of him. He's an
Hmm.
Egyptian actor, and he did the role of Freddie Mercury in that movie. That movie went crazy. Rami won an Oscar for it for his role as Freddie Mercury, and it gained a lot of popularity over here in Egypt. So I wanted to look this up. 2017, I was what, uh, 14 years old, something like that. I don't know. Yeah. So I didn't know who Queen was. I didn't know what Bohemian Rhapsody was. I just looked it up, listened to I watched the movie first, of course, and then I listened to the song Bohemian Rhapsody. I just absolutely fell in love with it. It's an absolute masterpiece. To this day, I still love it. Few days go by and I'm on YouTube looking up like covers of Bohemian Rhapsody to see what people have done with it, and I just stumble upon Pentatonix's cover of Bohemian Rhapsody. For the entire 6 minutes of the cover, my jaw was on the floor, just admiring uh, what these people can do with their voice. It was just astonishing to me. I've never heard anything like that before, ever. So I just dove into the a cappella rabbit hole basically and started watching more a cappella music. around the age of like 15, I released my first cover on YouTube, and the rest is history. I really love the acapella community in general, and I love arranging acapella music. It's a huge passion for me. So that's how I discovered it, basically.
So, okay, so you're into your kind of late teen years. At what point are you like, oh, okay, I could do this as a career? And then where in
Mm.
that process does the bass gang come along?
So when I started, it again, it was not a career for me at all.
Hmm.
Um, I joined the bass gang at 17 years old, which is after 2 years of me making covers. And even when I joined the bass gang, I was like, there's no way this is gonna go anywhere. I'm gonna go to college and become like a computer engineer or something. And I didn't think of music as like a career at all until like I actually started seeing people's reactions to the stuff that I do.
Mm.
I started seeing like the smiles on people's faces and like the reaction videos on YouTube. I started seeing all the positive feedback and comments and crazy milestones that we've been hitting. Um, I think it was around the Bass Gang's first EP that I was like, oh my God, this could actually go somewhere. This is crazy. People are liking what I do. Especially because like when I first started making acapella music, I made Arabic acapella music,
Hmm.
which I mean, it did gain some traction over here in Egypt, but people didn't really appreciate what was going on behind the music, if that makes any sense. Like, they
Yeah, yeah,
didn't know what the hell I was doing. They would just see a bunch of Marwans cloned on screen. One of them is doing this, one of them is doing that. Like, bro, you're just singing. Why do you have so many of yourself on screen? I would literally get asked that question. Like, people don't grasp the idea of a cappella music.
yeah,
So, my first few videos didn't really give me that satisfaction of like, oh my God, people are really appreciating what I'm doing. It wasn't until like I started releasing a few English covers and until I started working with the bass gang that I was like, oh my God, people are loving this. This could be an actual career for me, basically. Yeah.
yeah. So Peter's told his kind of version of the origin story for the bass gang, but I want to hear your side of the story as well. Like, did you know any of them beforehand, or like how did that come to fruition?
Okay, just a quick question before. Is my internet okay? Am I lagging at all?
No, you're
Or
good.
is that fine?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay. So we met on this Discord server called the Base.
Well, now it's not good. Well, now it's better.
Wait, 1 second. Bro, you're still cutting up. I should
I'm
wait.
cutting
Can
up.
you hear
All
me?
right. Yeah.
It's kind of like the photos. Okay, can you give me like 2 minutes? I can like, restart my router real quick. It
Yeah,
might
yeah,
fix
you're
the
good.
issue.
You're good.
I hope you can cut all of this out.
We'll figure it out, or it'll be funny for everybody else. That is fine.
So what was it? Cool.
Okay, so we're okay. Technical difficulties or not so difficult. I don't know. Maybe just I don't know. Um, where were we? I don't even remember.
The
And it
Base
was only two
Gang
minutes ago.
origin
Yes,
story.
Base Gang origin story. Keep going.
Let's do it. So we met on this app called Discord. There was this server called the Bass Singing Nation, which Tommy actually created a bunch of years ago for the bass singing community, basically, people who were like enthusiastic about bass singing. So I would always watch like the freaking 5 or 6 years ago. I would love watching those videos where it's just like this person's vocal range or bass singer compilation or this specific note compilation. I just like watching bass singers, compilations of bass singers. And this guy who would make those compilations would have this link in the description of his videos, which is the Bass Singing Nation server. I joined that server. I met a bunch of new people, including Tommy. And then I would see Peter and Bobby also on there making content and posting it. And then I had been making some content myself as well. So the three of us, like excluding Tommy because he's the owner of the server, me, Bobby, and Peter joined this thing in the server actually called the Ambassador Program in the Bass Singing Nation, where they give you the chance to well, this server was like kind of big. It had like over 1,000 members.
Hmm.
So they would give you the chance to, if you put the link to the server in the description of your content on YouTube, they would then every time you upload a new video, they would announce it to all the members on the server that, hey, look, Marwan posted. Hey, Peter posted. Then
Yeah, yeah.
everyone would go check out your video, and all you gotta do would just put their link in the like the description of your videos on YouTube. So we were all in that ambassador program. We were all like kind of acquainted with each other. We didn't really talk that much. I knew who they were. I admired their content. And one day, Peter and Bobby actually worked on a cover together of the song called "The Summit" by Avi Kaplan.
Hmm.
It went crazy. People on the server were loving it in the entire community. And then just one day, out of the blue, actually 21st of January, 2021. We celebrate it every year. It's called Base Gang Day. Uh, Peter actually sent a message to that ambassador program chat. He just mentioned me, Tommy, and Bobby. He was like, "Hey, so when are we doing a project together?" Like just jokingly.
Hmm.
He just said that. I was kind of the person who took that seriously. I was like, when are we doing something together? And I just instantly created a group chat with the four of us. A couple of days later, we got in a call, started talking, throwing around ideas. We originally planned on like doing a medley of four songs where one of us would take the lead for each song, and it would be like one big video. And then Tommy came up with the idea of like, what if we did four songs, not just one? And each of us would publish a song on his own channel, and each of us would arrange that song and edit that song and be fully responsible for that song. Genius idea by Tommy. Um, was it Tommy? I don't even remember at this point. I know it was Tommy who suggested Billie Eilish as our first artist. So for our first EP, we did like four songs, four Billie Eilish cover songs. That was Tommy's idea. I don't remember whose idea it was to do like the four songs, but anyway,
We can give
uh,
Tommy credit. That's fine.
absolutely, yeah. So that's kind of how it started, and funnily enough, the name The Bass Gang came from just we had this Google Drive folder where we would upload all the stuff, and Peter was just, oh, what am I gonna name? Oh, Bass Gang. That's so we didn't even think because we didn't think this group was gonna go anywhere. We didn't think we'd have our own channel. Like our first EP was posted on our four separate channel, one song each.
Hmm.
And it went crazy. We didn't expect it for people to love it that much, for it to go that crazy. So we actually created a group channel by the name of the Bass Gang. We weren't even planning on naming the group. With the only reason we had to was because like on streaming services, you need to have like an artist name to publish your
Yeah.
stuff. So we just called it the Bass Gang, um, which turned out to be great. Great name.
Y- Yeah.
That's where it started. And then we did after the first EP, we did like a Halloween cover. We started working on the second EP, which we brought in four massive collaborators from the community, from the not just bass singing a cappella community, but the like the singing community on YouTube in general. Um, which was crazy. Then we moved on to volume three, volume four, all the singles in between, and it's just been the best journey ever with these guys, and I don't see it ending anytime soon.
Yeah, well, I hope it doesn't because the music is good. Um,
Oh yeah.
when you're collaborating with people, like for instance, um, you mentioned earlier that you would do all of the vocals to send like the demo version.
Yeah,
How's doing that for somebody like Lauren Paley, whose range is not the same as yours, for
that was
instance?
horrible. That was like I had to sing so high. I would train my voice to like kind of reach that stuff, and if I couldn't reach it, I would like manually pitch it up so I can reach Lauren Stone because all of this is just a demo. I'm gonna send it to her and she's gonna record over it, not
Yeah,
over it, like in place of it. If that makes
yeah,
any sense. Um, so it was just a demo, so I didn't care that it sounded that good that much. But at the same time, I still wanted it to sound good because it's Lauren freaking Paley.
yeah.
So it was definitely difficult, but we I got through it.
Yeah, you did. Well, what's it like being like finding different people that fit the different roles that you're looking for, and the collaborations, right? My mother told me one, what's his Eric, I think is his name is.
Mm,
His voice is dummy deep, and then you've got guys like Big
crazy.
Brev who've got crazy range, and Jonathan Young on the Centuries
Yeah.
one, right? They all have different kind of qualities in the voice. Do you pick the songs first and then the collaborators, or do you pick the song to fit the collaborator that already agreed? Or does it depend? I guess is probably the,
Both.
yeah.
Both. So for some th songs, I can't even speak today. For some songs, we decide on the song first, and we'd be like, who would fit this type of song? Which was the case for most of the songs on Volume 4.
Yeah.
But for something like Centuries, for example, it was through like Bobby's communications. He got in touch with Jonathan Young, and he got us a song with him. And then we would think, what song would fit Jonathan Young the most? So it's kind of both ways. Depends on all the project, pretty
Hmm.
much.
So you've got some solo stuff out as well. If I recall, I don't remember
Mm.
what the song was, but you did one song in like 30 genres.
Yeah.
Um, what is your kind of goals with the solo stuff? Because I think some of the other ones, like Peter and Bobby, are doing all sorts of collabs with people in the US, and you, at least to my knowledge, at the point of when you guys were all going to meet for the Disney one, you weren't able to travel. So,
Mm.
like, what's your kind of goals with the solo stuff? Do you have more stuff on the horizon that you want to start releasing or working on, or even original stuff, or like, where do you think your musical journey will take you, or what goals do you have as well? I know that's a question kind of for the end, but I feel like it's a good point in the pod, and I don't. Well, anyways, keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah. I would say definitely the base gang stakes top priority.
Hmm.
Uh, one, because it's like much more popular and successful, and it's a huge responsibility. Two, because I'm actually like the manager for the base game now. I handle like all the socials, all like
Mm.
the conducting the meetings and everything, and like a lot of different tasks. So base gang is top priority. And then my solo channel, at the moment, I'm just kind of taking it like when I have a cool idea for a project that I want to do, I'm gonna just do it. I don't have like set plans for
Yeah.
the channel because like my last release was what, October or something like that. So I haven't published anything in a while. And before October, it was like February or
Hmm.
May, something like that. I released two songs last year, which isn't great. Like I want to do more, but I just don't have time to do more with a lot of stuff going on with the bass gang, managing the bass gang, being in college. That alone is crazy. So I see it as like as soon as I'm done with college, I'm gonna try and put a lot more effort into my solo stuff with the bass gang still being top priority. Do I have any goals? Nothing other than like the basic milestone goals of like, oh, I want to reach 100,000 subs on my solo channel. I want to collab with big people. I want to make a song that goes viral. Like the
Hmm.
basic type of goals. But other than that, I'm just focusing on the base gang and finishing college at the moment. And as soon as as college is done, I'm gonna hop back into the solo stuff. I have one cover actually planned that I'm working on right now for the solo channel. It's difficult to find time to work on it,
Yeah.
but I'm trying my best. So yeah, base gang is top priority, and my channel is like when I have a cool idea for like this is the thing. There's two types of project. Like a passion project where
Yeah.
it's a song that I really love and I just want to do because I love that song and I want to do it in my own style. And a project where it's like, oh, this song is currently trending and it's going viral. Let me like take advantage of that and do a cover of it. I
Hmm.
stopped doing that a long time ago for my own channel. We might do that for the base gang here and then, but for my own channel, it's at this point it's purely just projects that I really want to do, the projects that I love, projects that I get satisfaction as I'm working on them and as they're being released and as I see people's responses because I just love the song. Kiss from a Rose, my second to last project, was a song that I just completely fell in love with and I was like, I want to arrange this piece because I just love it so much. That's
Mm.
what my solo channel has come to at at this point.
Are you actively searching for songs, or is it just you are listening to songs in your everyday life and one kind of you're like, oh, I like that one? Or how does it work for
Um,
both groups, I guess, because for the fourth volume, the
mm,
those Valhalla Calling and My Mother Told Me, those are kind of like popping off on the internet. Um, but for some of the other ones, like I don't think Billie Eilish was popping off as a
yeah,
acapella kind of. I
yeah,
don't,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yep. So for my solo channel, I kind of have this like just huge list of songs.
Mm.
Whenever I just get a song that I think, oh, this could be good in like a cappella, oh, I arrange this pretty well. I just put it in the list. I just have this huge lists of songs that I potentially want to do. That's how it goes for me. For the bass gang, uh, for the EPs specifically, like Volume 4, we just wanted we for each EP we have like a theme.
Hmm.
So first EP was an artist, Billie Eilish. We did four Billie Eilish songs. Second EP, you could say the theme was like having a collaborator on each song, like
Yeah.
the collaborator EP, which is something we hadn't collaborated with anyone before that EP. Third EP was Disney, and fourth EP was just epic Viking shanty metal, whatever you want to call it, just that hybrid of epic stuff. Um, so we just decided on the theme first, and then we just started picking songs that would fit that theme, which is Valhalla Calling. I thought of Dragonborn because I just like video games, and
Yeah.
even though I haven't played Skyrim before, but I love that song so much. Uh, Peter wanted to do My Mother Told Me, and actually, fun fact about Reigns of Castamere, Bobby didn't arrange that one. He had a lot of influence on it, but he was on tour with the Wellerman, I think. So we outsourced an arrangement for that one. I'm going off track.
No, you're good. We got time. You're good.
Yeah, so we just decide on the theme first, and then we decide what songs could fit that theme. That's for the EPs. For the singles, um I don't we don't like have a specific thought process. It depends on the project. It depends on like Ghostbusters was one of those projects where it's like, oh, we're getting Peter Hollins. Okay, let's pick a good song for Peter Hollins to do with us for Halloween. We Don't Talk About Bruno was one of those projects where it's like, oh,
Mm.
Bruno is popping off right now. Let's do that. Um, what other singles have we done? More Than Words, for example, was like we just randomly decided, hey, let's do a song that is easy, that doesn't require much work, that doesn't require just one vocal line, one or two angles for the video, and that's it. So we
Hmm.
decided on More Than Words. So most of the time we don't decide the song first. We decide, oh, we want to do this. So let's pick a song that fits this. We want to do like a chill vibe. Let's do More Than
Yeah.
Words. We want to do a Halloween song. Let's choose that. We want to do a song that fits this collaborator. Let's do that. We want to do a song that's trending. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So we pick the thing that we want to strive for first, and then we pick a song that fits that thing. I hope that makes any
It
sense.
does, yeah. For the ones that are popping off, like the, as you know, the viral cycle on the internet only lasts for so long. So like for those,
Yeah.
you're in kind of a time crunch. So for you as the manager, how do you how do you kind of go about doing laying out the responsibilities of like, okay, Peter, you're a costume, I'm storyboarding, Tommy, you're however you go about laying out those responsibilities from the standpoint that Bobby's on tour, Peter's got a opera production that he's doing, um, and then everybody's got their own stuff, right? Of course, Bobby's got his own channel, Peter's got his opera and his podcasts and his solo work as well and his reaction videos and stuff. How do you go about managing that and ensuring that everybody's got kind of the like obviously you're all adults, so you all get your stuff in on time, but like to make it realistic and without kind of burning people out. How do you manage all that in the schedule and then manage all the external pieces of, okay, we got to send it to the mixing and the mastering guy, and then we got to, like, you do a lot of it yourself, from my
Hmm.
understanding, or you have the ability to do so. So I would imagine if some external kind of um, thing is late, you can just be like, all right, I'm just going to do it. But how do you manage all that?
So again, it depends on the project. So which is like this person is responsible for that project. He's gonna arrange it. He's gonna edit the vocals. He's gonna have everything ready. I usually get in contact with like the mixing engineers, the mastering engineers. I usually help out with like the storyboarding of the videos. Like the person who's responsible for the project has the main vision, writes the main scripts, and I could just go in and like polish that up and put some ideas of my own. Um, but like, how do I manage it? We always have like always plan deadlines pretty early on. So we decide that we want to do this song. Okay, Here's the arranging deadline for you who's arranging. Here's the recording deadline for all of us. Here's the editing deadline for the parts. Here's the deadline of when we should send it to the mixing engineer. Mixing engineer takes like 4 or 5 days. That's the mastering deadline for the mastering guy. We just set all of the deadlines as soon as we start planning the projects.
Mm.
Um, does that work? Not all the time because the base gang is horrible, including myself, horrible at sticking to deadlines. So we've learned to set those deadlines a bit earlier than the date that we want to strive for because we know we're not gonna follow those deadlines anyway. But it works out in the end anyway. We'd have to like delay it by a week or two, but it works.
Yeah.
So that's basically we do just setting deadlines for everything, not just like, oh, we're currently in the arranging process. Okay, here's the arranging deadline. No, it's just arranging, recording, mixing, all of the deadlines just early on. I think that's what really helps us keep everything on track.
Can you define mixing and mastering for the non-musically inclined? Like what that actually entails?
Yes. So when you have all of your parts recorded, the arrangement is done, everyone recorded their parts, the song is ready. You send to the mixing engineer all of the stems, and what stems are like this separate parts exported in their own audio file, if that makes sense. So
Hmm.
not just the one song, the one MP3 file, but it would just be like hundreds of files, depending on the project. Is for like something like If I Had a Heart was like almost 170 something tracks, something like More Than Words was like 6 tracks.
Yeah.
So we see send all the tracks to the mixing guy. He layers them up together and he just starts messing around with the volume levels, with the EQ levels, a bunch of different effects that you put on the voice to make it sound good or like presentable to like streaming services and stuff. And he starts putting on the effects depending on the vocal line. So if it's bass, he like does like a low boost on the equalizer. If it's like lead vocals, he tries to make it like a little bit sharp and bright. Beatbox, he like mixes the kick and the snare differently. And just he just layers everything together and makes sure it's like all uh like that. If it and it's all just working together perfectly. Once that's done, he sends just the one final cut, the one final take, which then goes to the mastering guy. And what mastering is, I still don't have a full grasp on what mastering is. Uh,
We won't tell
but
anyone, don't worry.
mastering is generally like, oh, the song is ready. I'm gonna make it ready for streaming services fully by adjusting the final volume level of the song, doing any final like equalizing and like boosting certain frequencies for the song. But I'm not working on the separate tracks. I'm working on the song as a whole.
Mm.
That's basically mastering. The mixing engineer has the separate tracks that he works on and makes them sound good together, and then he exports just the one file, which goes to the mastering guy, and then he works on that one whole song file and does any like final touches to it, any equalizer changes, any compressor, whatever, any volume level adjustments, and yeah. So that's mixing and mastering.
Okay, gotcha. So at this point, you guys are filming the videos and stuff. How um is that process happening at the same time? Like the storyboarding, I would imagine, has already occurred, or do you generally need the final version before you finish the video? I mean, obviously to like put it together, the audio and the
Mhm.
video, obviously you need it, but like to storyboard and to actually record the parts for the video. Um,
So just like we have guide tracks to record the audio, we also have guide tracks to film the video.
mm,
And those guide tracks, what they consist of is like you'd have not even necessarily the final mix, or just like maybe just a rough demo of the song with the part that I would like that person to film, boosted up in volume. How do I describe this? So you'd have like maybe we're filming a video for Valhalla Calling,
hmm.
and we have the Valhalla Calling song just playing, and the part that I actually want you to film with the song is boosted up so you can hear it better than the other parts. And there's also a metronome in the back, kind of leading you to when to enter and when to finish.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's how a guide track is. There's a 4 count at the start, Then you start filming, and like perfectly clearly hear the part that you want to film, but it's not isolated. It's like over the rest of the song. If it was isolated, like we've done that before, we would just play the part, just the isolated part that you're filming, like the a background part, for example, and just going this just doesn't make any sense on its own.
Yeah.
So you'd always put it in a guide track where it's boosted way high above the song that's actually playing, and the part that I want you to film is just up high. Um, so you can hear it clearly and feel the vibe of the song as you're filming. If it was isolated, you wouldn't really feel that energy,
Hmm.
especially with something like Valhalla, where it's just like really heavy, energetic. If you were like filming along with the part on its own, it wouldn't it would feel like something's off. So we'd always have the guide tracks where the song is actually in the back. You feel the vibe as you're filming, and the part that I want you to film is just boosted up so you can hear it.
Yeah. Okay, so you do all this, then it's released, and then you mentioned the kind of community and the reception that you got
Mm.
earlier. The kind of the Mortiuses of the world or the Jen
Yeah.
Glatzofers of the world and kind of some of the others who I can't think of off the top of my head at this moment. Apologies if any of those people end up listening. Um, like that community, at least it didn't seem to me. Well, one, it seems very organic, and these people just love a cappella.
Yeah.
Um, but alternatively, now it seems like you guys have your own little kind of promotion ring, sort of, maybe for lack of a better word. It's like you guys release something, and then all of a sudden you've got whatever the number of reaction channels
Yeah.
kind of reacting to it. One, it's good for everyone because they get a video out that they know that their people will like. You guys get some promotion on other channels. Maybe it's their Patreon, so they get it a day early or whatever, and
Yeah.
then they sneak peek it to whoever. How did that community sort of, was that super organ? Was there discussions behind the scenes of like, hey, we're gonna do this with some of these people, or was because it seems very organic, like it just happened. And to me, it's super cool because you end up with like this group of people that all likes the same kind of thing, and then
Mm.
everyone's rooting for each other to do well, and the vibe seems super good. Like I'm fairly busy, so I don't have time to pop into everybody's premieres of everything. But like the ones that
Yeah.
I'm able to pop in for, like the vibes are great. I don't talk to that a little bit.
Dude, yeah, it's the most wholesome community ever. I love it. At the beginning, it definitely was not like planned or anything. It was
Yeah,
totally organic. We just put the music out there, and we'd see all these reaction videos coming out on YouTube, and we'd sit in a call and watch them together and stuff. It was like so exciting. It's so good seeing like people's actual reactions to the video is just a different feeling than just reading a comment on the video. Like obviously we were so happy reading the comments and the positive feedback, but just seeing someone's face as they're watching your video is just a whole other feeling. Um, Later on, we kind of did this like group chat with
hmm,
a bunch of the react we call the base gang reactor circle, where we send them an early access preview of the video, just like we do with the patrons. We send them early access. They'd recorded they record the reaction before the video comes out, so they can then release it, like maybe even on the same day as the video comes out. Um, so they get something out of it, and we get something out of it as well, which is we get the reaction video, and they get that they release it very early at the time where people are looking for base gang reactions. We don't do the whole reactor circle thing like a lot. We do it a lot with the EPs.
yeah,
Maybe for some of the singles we forget to do it, but the reaction community is just phenomenal. We absolutely love it. We love, as you said, how organic it is. Like none of it was planned. The whole community is just like really supportive. We all just appreciate. They all appreciate good music, if that makes any sense.
yeah. No, it makes
So yeah.
complete sense. It's really cool because it's like in the world of the internet where there's so many choices of content to consume. It's like you can, if you bring a community together or you've got good vibes, you can really put together like this situation where you can have people who are willing to give you a couple bucks to support what you do because
Mm,
it's one, they get kind of a closer relationship with, we'll say the talent for lack of a better word, because it doesn't have to be singing.
mm.
And at the same time, this like it's cool to enable somebody who, right, like you said, going into a career in music is very risky. It doesn't always pay super well. There's been gatekeepers in the past, at least in the US from Hollywood and the music labels and stuff. And that world doesn't really the world is changing from a content creation standpoint where you can get a group of people together who are willing to support somebody or a group like yourselves outside of just YouTube ads or whatever you guys are getting paid from the streaming services to
Hmm.
say like, hey, no, we really like what you're doing. Hey, take some of my money and keep doing it because it's great. And then you get this whole kind of self-sustaining um, community. It's super cool to watch. I can imagine also you guys getting in the call and watching some of the reaction. Oh, Cassandra, that she's hilarious.
He
Um,
is so
I c-
hilarious,
I
yeah.
can imagine getting in a call and watching some of those. Right, you get different vibes from different people. Jen is super analytical and she's pointing out the
Mm.
musical stuff. Kaz is throwing pencils at things, and so like I like. Do you guys have? I'm not gonna make you pick a favorite. But like, do you guys have ones that you are like, yes, this one, we're excited for this person's reaction, and like getting into the call, I can imagine that it can be very exciting. Do you go run through like four of them at the same time? You're like, okay, we'll click on this one,
Hell
this one, this
yeah.
one.
Yeah, yeah. As soon as they come out, we just like to watch all of them. Maybe not even like the four of us, but me and Tommy specifically love to sit down and watch the reactions. Kaz, she's incredible. Jen, incredible. Mortius, Kofi reacts. What it do, Dave? King Family reacts. There's just a bunch of different reactions channels that we love to watch. The people that I mentioned, like these are like the OGs of the
Yeah,
acapella
yeah.
reaction community. There's always more and more just starting to come up and do the reactions of their own, and we always discover those people. We sometimes like look up the base gang reaction on YouTube and just sort it by upload date, so it's the newest stuff, like the newest uploads. That's how we like always discover new reactions and stuff. So yeah, it's just always so enjoyable for us to watch these reactions, and we definitely we have like on our own base gang Discord server, which is like a
Hmm.
Patreon exclusive server. We have like a little channel in there called Reactions, where all of the patrons would find reaction videos and just post them there for everyone to watch.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah, we're
cool.
very supportive of that community. We love it. We love it so much.
I think I was talking with somebody a couple weeks ago about like they're like, why do people like to watch people watch things? It's like, well, because it's like they're your friend and they like something that you
Yeah,
also like, and you can, especially if you've seen the video already, it's like you're showing your friend something.
exactly.
So you also get to see, it's like, oh, I'm showing my friend this thing that I like without without sometimes having to bother somebody else who like is your friend in real life. Um, and it's super cool. It's like the vibes again, just like the organic, wholesome vibes of
Very,
people
very
just
relatable. Yeah,
yeah,
I watch reaction videos on my own time, not necessarily to music stuff, like to wrestling stuff or
yeah.
to like video game cutscene reaction. Like that specific moment in a video game really hit me, and I want to see how it affected other people as well. So I love reaction videos to like a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah. The cutscene, the video game cutscene is an interesting piece because it intertwines with some of you, the bass gang transition into using more instrumentals and Peter with Arcane and like it's kind of a vibe that fits you guys a little bit. Do you have, so I know we talked on the phone about games that you play, but like have you ever ventured into like the video game musical world as a cover type thing? Have you thought about that?
I would love to do that, but we have to think of it like as the base gang at least. We've done like the Dragonborn comes, and yeah, it did
Yeah.
great, but uh.
Or even just for you on your solo stuff on like Passion Pro like Peter did the Game of Thrones theme, which I know is not a video game, but
Yeah,
like
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I must have done like something video game related. In like my ha the, this is Halloween and 30 styles. I did like Undertale as one of the styles.
yeah.
Um, I almost had a cover of the song "Still Alive" from Portal. I don't know if you've ever played Portal. Incredible
Mm-mm.
game. Um, I just love video game music, but you have to like venture out and do different types. Like I can't just do video game music.
No, of course not.
Yeah,
Of course
yeah.
not.
But like yeah, we kind of dabbled with it with the Dragonborn comes. We actually thought of the idea of doing like a video game EP. Like that would be a great theme for one of the EPs where we do like the Halo theme or like the God of War theme or
Yeah.
something from Minecraft. Like the Minecraft soundtrack is amazing. Something from Undertale again. So we always have ideas for the EPs, which included like the video game idea, but I don't know. Video game music is harder to do because most of the time it doesn't have any lyrics, and it's hard
Mm.
to arrange for a piece that doesn't have lyrics. The arrangements that astonish me the most are, well, pieces that, like classical pieces, like if you arrange like a in the Hall of the Mountain King or Fur Elise or any of those like classical Mozart or Beethoven pieces in a cappella form, it's always so good if you do it correctly. Like Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy, that one Pentatonics
Yes.
cover, I
Yeah,
fell in
yeah.
love with that one. So yeah, video game music is incredible, but it's difficult to do
Mm.
because
Yeah.
it doesn't have any lyrics.
Yeah. Do you have other things that you watch reactions to as outside of those sorts of, so like for me I'll watch, there's a genre sometimes that when I'm bored I'll watch. It's like um baseball fan watches soccer because I'm a big soccer guy, so like it's like, oh, it's nice to see people be super surprised by like Messi or
Yeah,
whatever. um and then video game cutscenes is a good one. But I think acapella reactions is one of my favorite ones to watch, especially because like
yeah,
some of the, like Peter, I know some of, well, you and I have spoken now for a couple of times, but like getting a feel for the process and like knowing the process, or like watching somebody on a podcast like talk through their process on how they arrange something, seeing it and then being able to like, I've got a little bit of a musical ear, and then watching somebody who is just like f floored by whatever it is that you're doing. Especially like
yeah,
when you guys drop in the super low notes like that I can kind of tell is coming just by like the way the music is going, and then just seeing somebody be absolutely floored by it is
yeah, yeah.
or like the Jeff Castellucci covers is a good one. People floored
Mm.
by those all the time. What other things do you enjoy watching?
I mean, just music reactions, definitely a cappella reactions. I'm a huge wrestling nerd, so I love like wrestling reactions, video game stuff. But I think my favorite would have to be like reacting to my own music, like people reacting to watching people reacting to my own music. That
Yeah.
yeah, or just music that I'm passionate about in general. So I really love like that Jonathan Young genre style of music, like heavy
Hmm.
rock or like kind of venturing into metal. I like watching reactions to that stuff, and yeah, just wrestling. I'm really into wrestling, so
Did I
I would watch that.
I
Hmm?
saw on Twitter this morning, did Cena become a heel against The Rock?
Bro, he broke my heart. It's
Uh
crazy. Bro, 22 years or like 20 something years of his career, he had never turned heel. He was always the good guy. And he just decided in his last year, he's retiring by the end of this year. It's his last year. He's gonna turn heel. He's gonna side with The Rock, which The Rock has this character of like he's the final boss. He's actually a member of the WWE board of
uh-huh.
directors. So he's controlling everything now, basically, both in real life and storyline wise. So it's kind of crazy. I did not expect that at all. I was up to like, I mean, these shows are obviously aired from like the US or Canada or stuff. So the show started at 2 a.m. for me. I was up until like 6 a.m. watching the show, and I watched like the post-show press conference and everything. And John Cena in the press conference, he just went in, sat down, and instead of taking any questions, he just picked up the mic. He just went in there, picked up the mic, dropped the mic, and just left. That's all he did. So it was absolutely crazy. Just a monumental event happened yesterday. It was wild. Look, this
Ta-
morning I woke up and I looked up John Cena heel turn reaction videos, and I just wanted to watch people's
Ah.
reactions.
There
It
you,
was insane.
I've not followed it that close, but I saw some tweet that said that this was like 10 years in the making, that like for him to do the heel turn, which is
Something like
bonkers.
that. Yeah, yeah. He would always tease it a lot, but he would never actually commit. Like he would never do it. John Cena is
Uh
always known as the good guy. Like he would like go like a lot of kids look up to him. He'd go to like the Make-A-Wish and like the stuff like that. Uh, he's always been like the good, wholesome guy. And for
Yeah.
this to happen is just the most surprising, out of place thing ever. But I absolutely love it. As a diehard John Cena fan, he's like, I'd say my second favorite after CM Punk. John Cena, my childhood hero. Seeing him turn like that has been crazy, but I still love it. I'm so excited to see where it's going, where it goes, and yeah, this the road to WrestleMania is gonna be crazy. WrestleMania is like the one big event that happens every year
Yeah.
where most of the major storylines culminate, basically.
How
Uh,
far out is it?
it's in April 20th, 420.
Oh, so not that
Yeah,
it's actually not that far away. I
yeah.
had did you see it? There was a bit comedian speaking of John Cena going to Make-A-Wish, he was like when he would volunteer at the Special Olympics and the people would tell him that they want to see John Cena, he's like, "No, no, no, you don't want that. You're gonna have to get way worse before you see him." It's like, okay, that's
Oh, it's horrible.
uh and then I had a guy on the pod not that long ago who was doing the storytelling for WWE for like 2 years back in maybe 10 years ago, something like that.
No way.
Yeah, and he was like, it's nuts because you can hear there's no time to redo because he went from Hollywood where you have time to like revamp and redo things to WWE where it's like, okay, yeah, here we're going, and we you hear the arena and it's like, well, if you made a mistake too late, it's going
Yup.
anyways. It's bananas. It's bananas. That
It's
whole world, like
it's
I've never gotten
happened.
into it, but it seems really like it seems cool.
Yeah, it's crazy cool. And as someone who's been watching for like I started watching when I was 8 years old. I've been watching ever since. I took like a little break uh around high school or something and I stopped watching, but 2 years ago I came back and I just started watching it again. Hardcore,
Hmm.
diehard wrestling fan to this day. It is so cool. And like for me personally, I love everything that goes on in the ring, all the crazy acrobatics and the physical stuff that they do. But
Hmm.
for me personally, it's more about the storylines. It's like you're watching a TV show that's been going on for like 70 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And all of the stories, there's like throwbacks to storylines that happened years and years ago, and you'd be like, "Oh, I remember watching that one. I remember when I was like a kid watching that one." Even stuff that happened like really early on, I would always have to go back and watch like recaps of old storylines, and everything just ties to each other. Like the main guy who's like the face of the company right now, Cody Rhodes, his dad, Dusty Rhodes. Uh, he would always throw back to like his dad's journey and how I want to do this for my dad, and my dad did this years ago, so I want blah blah blah. So there's always that connection. It's like you are watching a TV show that's been going on for like a crazy amount of time. And
Yeah.
people say like, "Oh, it's fake. It's scripted. It's everything." I mean, obviously, I know.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not telling me anything new here. I know it's scripted, but like Breaking Bad, for example, I mean, Walter White isn't a real chemistry teacher that sells meth. No, he's a scripted character as well. I
Yeah.
mean, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is different than the final boss, The Rock. Like that's a character and that's a real human. So I know like it's like characters and it's like scripted. So it always pisses me off when people say like, "Oh, it's fake." It's great. Yeah, it is scripted, but the in-ring stuff is definitely real, excluding some of the stuff where it's like you don't like throw a hard punch, for example, just right at
Yeah.
someone's face. Like all of those crazy bumps that they take on their backs or like anything like that, totally real. But anything that's like kind of threatening, there's always a safe way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Yeah.
nobody's actually dropping ladders on each other or doing whatever and any of these other things. But yeah, I never that's interesting that you point that out because like I had always in the back of my head heard the like, oh, it's fake vibes, and I had never like put much thought into it. I was just like, well, yeah,
Mm.
obviously it's fake. But then so is every other actor ever.
Yeah, there you go.
So like once you view it like that, it's like, okay, well, yeah, obviously it's just a different form of entertainment. But it goes
Exactly.
it like it borders into the realm of like UFC and other fights, which is not fake, and it's like a mix
Yeah,
between the two. So I think that probably
exactly.
maybe that's why people get, oh, it's fake. Well, it's like fake. Well, it's like, yeah, well, it's not supposed to be a real fight. Nobody's going into a real fight dropping a
There you go.
chair from like the rafters on somebody else. Like that's.
That's why they
I don't
call it
know.
sports entertainment. They
Yeah,
just kind of like a mix between the two.
it's like the Globetrotters of fighting or something like that. Um, so what's next? Well, you could do a next music video. You could do WWE themed.
Oh, I wish. I wish that would be so cool. But the WWE community is like so niche. It? It's getting a lot bigger now
I
as I
think
think of
so.
it.
Yeah, I think so.
Like
Well, fighting is getting bigger, generally speaking. Like
yeah,
UFC is
yeah.
getting bigger, and boxing's kind of fallen off. I think it's
Yeah.
a little bit reminiscent of like, but these like celebrity fights are popping off. I
Yeah,
think
like
like
the YouTube boxing
yeah, like
thing.
well, some of them people just want to see like Jake Paul lose or whoever.
Yeah.
I think some of it is that, but like fighting generally, I think is popping off. It might not be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, it might work. You never know.
I'd love to do it. Just like my favorite wrestling theme songs. I definitely see myself doing like a wrestling theme song one day. I don't know
Yeah,
when, but it would definitely be a passion project for me, like for my solo channel. I'd
yeah,
love to do that.
100%. So what's next for you and the bass gang? You got releases planned? Bass gang's got some stuff going on, or like in like 3 to 5 years? What Peter mentioned that he would love if you guys were able to go on tour at some point. Like, what's if wave a magic wand, everything's perfect in 3 or 5 years? Like, what's going on with you?
Ooh, that's a good way to phrase it. I would say the perfect scenario in like 5 years, the base gang, million YouTube subscribers, crazy successful tour around Europe and the US. I personally love to go on tour, but for me, I don't want to like because the last time this happened, it didn't feel so well. Like committing to all of these stuff and planning and renting equipment and renting locations and doing all this planning for me to just not be able to go.
Yeah,
So I don't want something like that to happen again. That's why I don't think about like touring that much until like I have my all of my travel stuff completely set because getting out of the country is a bit difficult here in Egypt. There's a lot of like certain requirements that you have to meet and
yeah,
so touring is definitely a goal. I don't know when, not in the near future, I don't think, but it is definitely a goal. And yeah, I just love to reach all the crazy milestones, collab with major artists, million subscribers, the gold play button. I have the silver one back
mm,
there. I'd love
yeah,
to have the gold one. Same for my solo career. And as I said, as soon as I'm done with college, I want to focus more on my solo channels, put some more content out there, start making even some more like short covers, like the Instagram or TikTok style, like vertical reel covers. I
hmm
love doing those. Um, yeah, no like specific goals other than the basic stuff. I'd love to go on tour with the guys. I'd love to reach all the big milestones. And yeah.
yeah,
Do we have anything
100%.
like planned, projects planned? Yes, we definitely do. We have something for May. Uh, and we have one after that. I don't want to say when it is, and I don't say what it is because it's gonna be huge. I don't want to
Yeah, yeah,
spoil
all good,
anything.
all good.
And then the EP, which is also gonna be crazy. We have some plans for that and a possible meetup. I'm not gonna say how or when or where.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, don't say where people are gonna show up. It's like
yeah. But it's really exciting. There is a possibility of us actually meeting up. That's all I'm gonna say.
Good. Well, looking forward to that for sure. Tell the
Absolutely.
people where they can find your work and the Base Gang's work.
Uh, well, at the Base Gang on all social platforms, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Find us on Patreon, support us on Patreon for like a bunch of cool extra perks, early access to our videos, karaoke versions of our music, behind the scenes videos, etc. And Marwan Ayman on all platforms as well. I release two covers a year. I'd love to do more, but just very time consuming. But yeah, look me up, watch all my covers. It's great. You'll enjoy it. And yeah, that's
Fair
it.
enough. For for you guys listening, links to all that will be down in the description as always. Any last nickels before we get you out of here?
I mean, thank you so much for having me. This was a great conversation. And I look forward to being on. Wait, Peter has been on this podcast like 5 times, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, I look forward to being on here again then. We can talk
Yeah.
more about like different stuff.
Yeah, we'll make it happen for sure. All right, guys, thank you for listening. Go check his stuff out in the description as always, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Thanks for tuning in to the World XP podcast. If you want to watch another episode like this one, click there. If you want to subscribe, click there.